Hello and welcome to this tutorial on applying a directory path for your Python 3 project source files so that you can keep all your data together for your sourcing and your output. So we'll be going through the method to keep or how it works usually when you're looking at tutorials on the net, and how to change that so that you can send the sources and the outputs to where you want them to be. This is useful for projects where you can keep all your files together, and also if you want to hand over to another colleague and go, here's all the source files in one place rather than they're here, and here. So you'll need a basic knowledge of how to use Python 3. I'm using Spider and Jupyter notebooks for examples, just to show two different integrated design environments, or IDEs, and what we can do to make life easier for your projects. So let's get started. Okay, here I am in Spider 3. I've got some code in here and I'll just go through what it means step by step. So first of all, we're going to import an Excel file into Python. The library we need for that is pandas. So the first line, import pandas, is PD. So PD basically means pandas from here on. Data frame, or DF, is an object that is made up of rows and columns. So it's such as a table, for example. And so it equals pandas, read Excel as a function, and it's going to read this file called sales data, which I have on my laptop. What puzzled me was how Python was going to find this file without any actual reference. So off I went to give this a try out and went to see what happens. Now in Python, nothing is going to actually output without a print statement. So what I've done, in order to make sure I can see the data and make sure I've got exactly what I'm after, use print. DF we've already defined here, and head means the top rows, or from the top, and then 5. So we're taking 5 rows from the top of the data just to get an idea of what the data looks like. Okay, let's give this a try. Play button. Okay, we've got no such file or directory, sales data. Can't find the file. Not totally surprising, but let's go and see what we can do to actually find out where that file should be placed so that I can get my project to work. So I found on the net this useful piece of code here, and I'll just uncomment that. The hash symbols represent commenting out the line. So if you see those hashes in place, Python will not read those lines and bypass them until it can find code that it can read. So we will run this now. We still need import pandas as PD because it's referenced in this code. Let's just clear the results here and see what happens this time. So you can see it's looking for sales data, and it'll look for it. It'll go to its path or its repository for its files. Let's play again. Okay, now we didn't expect it to find sales data, we knew that, but what we do have is the path where the files should be stored, and you can see that there. So this is C users Spider Py3, and there's my sales data file. Now we know the sales data file isn't there at the moment, so let's move it in there and then see if we can get a different result. I'll just minimize this, and here's my sales data folder in a dummy data folder that I just keep for the purposes of study, etc. Now the Spider Py3 folder is here, so I have that ready. So if I copy this file and paste it into my Spider folder, we'll go back here, we'll take out the results so we can see them again. Now this time I'm going to comment out this code because we found out where our file is or supposed to be. We'll put these back in and we'll try again. So let's play this. There we go. So we've got the first 5 rows of the data. So that's clearly where Python expects the file to be. So, Python3 expects the file to be. So that's great. But what if we want to put it into a place where we say there's several people using the file for a project? They, rather than find out where different IDEs want to put the file, how about if we had one location? And so we would apply a directory path to it. So let's comment this out for the moment. And let's go down to this information down here. Okay. Now, instead of df equals pd read excel and just the name of the file, I have the path here that goes back to my dummy data folder, which we were just looking at. So let me just minimize that. My data is still there in my dummy folder. So in theory, and I will remove the file from the Python3 folder, just so we're sure that it's reading from this location only. And I'm going to change this to 15, just so you can see a difference in the output rather than just 5 rows there. So let's clear the results again and let's run this. Okay, so you can see that it's now reading this path and it's giving me the top 15 results. Now 0 is the first result in Python in this case for the table, so we've got 0 to 14, which equals 15 records. Right, now you may find something odd about the path and the double backslashes. There is a reason for the 2 backslashes, as one is an escape character. In Python, a backslash means that the next character is a string or text. So if we only had a single backslash, as in this code here, Python would read that like that. And so unless you had a file that was named after the entire string, it would not be able to find it and you would end up with an error. So that's why we do the double backslash between each part of the path. And so we've printed our results there, and now we've managed to get the files into Python from a folder of our choice, and we're now going to output them to a folder of our choice as well. So I'm going to put the results into the same folder, but I'm going to going to rename sales data output.xlsx. So I'm just going to move over slightly so you can see this happen real time. And here's my dummy folder. So what I'm going to do, read that. It's going to print 15 rows again, but it will output the entire file to this location. So once again, I'll remove that. You don't need to print the 15 rows if you don't want to. This is really just about exporting the data to the location. So we will play this, and we now have sales data output. If we open that, there's our file. Okay, so that's fine for Python3. Okay, this is Jupyter Notebooks I've just opened, and we're going to have a look where Jupyter Notebooks stores its information. So if we go into this dialog box that opens with Jupyter Notebooks, we're looking for the line serving notebooks from local directory, and this is the path where it is storing its the files it's using. So let me just minimize that, and we'll go to run a script. And so I'm just going to, first of all, this is basically the same code as I ran in Python3, as you'll see. So this time there's a file in my dummy data called time series data. So it's not in the location that Jupyter Notebooks expect it. So let's see what happens. File not found error, which is fair enough. So let's go back to our source data and the folder that Jupyter Notebooks expects it to be in, and we'll copy that. And we'll paste the file there. Back to Jupyter Notebooks, and now let's run this again. There we have top 5 rows of the time series data. Once again, that's not ideal because now we have another source file in another location separate to Python3. So what can we do instead? Well, we can do the same thing we did last time, and that is we'll add this code and we will uncomment those points. Now this is going to read in, so I don't want the output. I'm going to use that in a moment. So this is going to read in the data from the location, the original dummy data location. So just so we're aware it's no longer in that path, I'm going to delete it. So there is our file, time series data. Here we are with the script in Jupyter Notebooks. Now first of all, I'm just going to comment this out while we step through this. So this step here is we're going to be reading the time series data file from the dummy data folder on this path, and we're going to print the top 15 rows. So let's go to the dummy data. You can see the time series data there. Let's run that. Top 15 rows, so it's read Excel in time series data file and shown us the first 15 rows, which is great. Next thing is the exporting. So let's assume we've done whatever you wanted to do with the data. We're going to use a function to Excel. So data frame PD read Excel is to bring the read Excel is the function to bring the data in an Excel file, and to Excel is where you're going to send it to. I've renamed time series data output so you can see the difference, and I'm just going to move this over so you can see this happen when we run the code. So this is what we're going to run. Let's do that now, and time series data output just appeared here, and we'll just have a look at that data as it comes out, and there we are, same data. And so that's just showing you where we can put the data. We can put it where we like, we can send it where we like, and we can keep all the data together. Thanks for watching the tutorial. I hope you got something out of it. I hope I've helped you understand the ways that you can place your data where you want it to be rather than where it'll be placed by the software itself, in order to keep your files in one location, keep it tidy and make it easy to hand over to colleagues. We went through the 2 backslashes rule when defining a path in Python, and you're now familiar with importing and exporting to get your Excel files in and out of Python. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will look forward to seeing you in the next tutorial. Bye.